Hello everybody and welcome to this new video. So today I'm going to be talking a little bit about Warface, and a lot of people have asked or wanted me to do a video on this topic of what is going to be the best loadouts for the game. Now, take this with a grain of salt. I am basically not a professional player at this, but I have played a lot, and this is basically a lot of the loadouts that I use in predominantly PvE Spec Ops type missions. So, you're probably going to be wondering, you're probably going to say in the comments,
Fuck you, Dementor. I can fuck your mom with my AK-12 fucking jester. I'm shoving up your ass and 720 no-scope your anus.
yeah. So, this is just basically what I do, what I use, and what I'd recommend. And how I'm going to basically boil this video down is I'm going to start with predominantly the weapons that I use, what I'd recommend to use. The armor is going to be next, and the best sets of what I use in kind of like combination and what works for me mostly. And then finally, for a lot of you free-to-play players, because I know there's a lot of you out there that don't really want to spend a dime, and I mean, it's going to be kind of hard trying to help you out with that, but I mean, it's still possible. Although I would recommend, if you are free, I would just say try to get a VIP pass maybe, because even then it's still like the weapons and gear in this game is based on like a repair system, and being a freemium player only is very, 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 very hard. But yeah, I hope that this video helps you a little bit, but nevertheless, let's just dive right in. Let's get right into the weapons. So right here, this is what I basically use for the most part right off rip. So I've got the golden H&K MG5 121. So this is a really well-rounder of a LMG. It's got 87 damage, 14 range. I mean, honestly, I'm not even gonna just read it off because it's basically right in front of your fucking face. You can read it yourself. This is what I use predominantly. I did use the golden stoner. Now, you don't need golden. It does help against cyborgs, but it's not, necessary. But you can, teeter-totter back and forth whether you want to use the stoner or if you wanted to use the MG5. I like the MG5 only because it's got, well, it's kind of negligible, but it's got 10 extra bullets. The RPM's a bit higher, and I mean, the damage, it's like between one, so it's not really like you're losing that much. But I do like it. It comes with a really nice sight and a nice grip as well. Otherwise it's still pretty good. As far as assault rifles go, if I were to do a PvP type mission, I would definitely go with the golden AK-15. Now, I just came out with a video the other day of me actually getting this. And this is actually a pretty good weapon. Now, I don't know the multipliers. I haven't seen anything on the wiki yet. If it's been dropped, I mean, I guess check it out. But for the most part, this seems like a really well all-rounder weapon. The other weapon I would use as well is the F90 is pretty good. I use that a little bit. Not really my, it's not really my go-to, but I would also go with the, God, where the fuck is it? Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Got so much shit in this fucking inventory. It's probably up. 805. Hair is pretty good, but there's better now. The Hawa 89, yes, this one as well. So I like the Hawa a lot. It's pretty solid, but I think the multipliers, again, are basically just one all across the board, except for headshots. I think that may be 5, but I mean, if you're comparing this one to the AK-15, I mean, it's just like, it's like day and night. I mean, they're pretty much close. They're similar. Obviously, the AK-15 comes out at the top like marginally, but I think again, like the multipliers are a bit better. I mean, I don't know completely, but But that's just what I would use. That's just kind of like my go-to. Secondaries, I would just go with the Tech 9, Gold Tech 9, or regular Tech 9. Um, the reason why is because, I mean, it's basically like, it's pretty much an SMG. It's got decent damage for what it is. It's basically the best machine auto secondary you can get in the game. Um, but if I were to basically change it up, I would go with the Keltec Sub 2000. The Sub 2000 is very good. It's basically like a sniper rifle. So if you wanted to, you could go with you know, an assault rifle or LMG with that as your secondary. And this thing's really good at taking out heads. Like, I mean, go into the safe house, for example, and this thing, I mean, you got your little sniper scope on it, and it just, for days, you're taking just shots out in at any range. I mean, this is great. The only thing that does kind of suck is you can't put like a muzzle attachment for a suppressor or a silencer, but it's pretty good. It's a well-rounder for sure. But this is pretty much going to do it for Rifleman. Frag grenades, I mean, I've got the FG4. It's okay. It's a heavier grenade. It's not going to go as far as like the regular grenade, but I mean, it's up to you. I wouldn't really even use it in PvP. I mean, it's not really the end all be all. Just go with the standard grenade. Flash, obviously. Smokes don't matter. You've got your seasonal, you know, claymores for this. Now, when it comes to your specials, obviously you're going to want to go with Scout. So if you don't have the ability to actually get the Scout, it's not the end of the world. You know, basic default is fine. It gives you 10 with this one gives you 15, and it gives you a little bit faster speed of which to give it out and give yourself the ammunition. But again, it's really not the end of the world if you can't get it at the moment. So don't even worry about that. So moving on, we're going to go to Medic. So Medic class, I don't really use Medic that often, but when I do, it's just for PvE especially, I'm going to go with the Foztech. This is the mechanical one. I've got the golden one somewhere right here. So I use this because it's honestly a nutty shotgun that has a good clip and good reserve. So it's got 20 in the clip, right? And it's also got 160 in reserve. And this isn't using like an Atlas vest or anything of the sort with an extra, you know, capacity, you know, carry. This is basically how it is. It's a sniper. I don't know why I'm using this sight. It's fucking dog shit. But yeah, so in terms of this, it's pretty solid. And I mean, you're taking out cyborgs with the gold variant. It's, you know, bread and butter. This is predominantly what I'm going to use. Secondary, of course, that's like across the board. That's all I'm going to use. When it comes to melee, I didn't really touch on this in the last one, but when it comes to melee, I'm going to go with either the Karambit or the Golden Balisong. So I know a lot of people, they prefer the katana, or they want to go with the, what's the other one? The little hatchet, the tomahawk. They usually use that because it has great AoE, it's got great range. Now that's all well and good in like PvP, of course. If you know, balls to the wall, you want to just fucking, you know, get that kill as quickly as possible. But if you're doing this in, say, like a hard spec ops or like a hard co-op of the sort, and you're basically running to like the same target and you've got your teammates around, you don't want to fucking knife them. I mean, don't be that asshole who basically is like, oh, I gotta get the drop set down. Let me knife really fast with my fucking, you know, katana and chop all my fucking teammates' heads off. Just don't be that guy. But that's just my go-to. That's just my advice for that. Frag, you know, all this stuff's pretty much going to be the same. You could put a smoke. I don't see it really being viable at all. Same with, you know, the claymores for this class in the PvE settings. I guess PvP if you really wanted to. So when it comes to specials, your best setup for medic is going to be the adrenaline kit. So the adrenaline kit gives increased speed and increased the amount of health recovered. Now, if you can't get it, again, it's not the end of the world. You can go with the basic, you know, med kit. You know, no one's going to fault you for it if you can't get it at the time, you know, because I know a lot of people are freemium players and they can't really afford, you know, right off rip all the good stuff. So I do also have the paramedic. So the issue is with the paramedic is that you can get a bit increased speed and also from a farther distance. But the thing is with the adrenaline is it recharges a lot faster for the health recovered. But I mean, I guess it's up to the person, but I would honestly prefer the adrenaline only because it recovers so much quicker. And if you're in like a really like tough spot, like say if you're on the final boss of Pripyat and you're playing on the Mantis, and you know people are just getting slaughtered, shockers fucking exploded, the fucking you know sirens of Pearl Harbor are going off, and you really got to start recovering your teammates really fast, and you know you got to get them going. I would always use the ones that's the fastest, you know, even though it says it's for the independent people. It's bullshit. It's not for independent players at all. And then obviously the defibs, go with the portable. So this is the one that has increased amount of health. So it's going to, instead of the basic gives half of your health at, you know, a revive. This gives 3/4, so 75% of your health. And also at a faster speed. So it basically recovers, it's just the same as the adrenaline med kit does, with a faster speed of recovery for the health. So that's going to do it for medic. Engineer. So this is basically, I mean, now it's going to be a bit of a controversial class, I know, but for me personally, I love the Golden Thompson. The Thompson all across the fucking board is like the shredder for this class. Like it's basically the most capable class in the entire game. I mean, you basically have really overpowered submachine guns. You've got your armor. You've got pretty much, you know, you could revive the set if you want to, if somebody's playing a shitty set. And it's up to you, but Thompson all across, it's got great damage. It's got a, you know, good damage drop off. It's got high RPM, which you really want to get that damage out, you know, at a faster rate, especially for a submachine gun class or engineer class. And the clip size is fucking nutty. It's 100. And it's basically like an SMG, LMG fucking dream. But this is basically just my kind of like setup, you know, my go-to. Everyone's going to be different. If I were to go, I don't know if I have my preset too, but oh no, that's definitely not it. I'm not going to use the fucking AM-17. But the second runner-up is going to be the, God, where is it, dude? Like, I hate this shit. It's so fucking just, everything's off. Everything's out of the fucking loop. Anyways, I would go with the Micro Roni. The Micro Roni is basically really good for PvE as well. It has more in reserve. Oh, there it is. It has more in reserve than the Thompson, of course. Again, it's got, you know, decent damage. The same damage, the same range. RPM's a little lower. Same with the clip size. But honestly, it's like not the end of the world. I have the Golden Sig. I don't know why I had that equipped. I think I was doing a Sunrise Hard for stealth and using it. But again, yeah, I would just use the Caltech Sub 2000 or the, what the fuck, Tech 9. Gold Karambit. Yeah, all this stuff's pretty much the same. Now, Claymore, obviously, you're going to want to go with the anti-personnel because this has a mine proximity of 360 degrees. And I feel like it also has a bigger blast radius than the Claymore. The Claymore is really fucking janky because I've had it sit in places before where NPCs were running right past it and it didn't even detonate, didn't even go off. It's kind of shit. So you're definitely, if you have like the extra anti-personnels laying around or the funds to basically get them, I definitely would recommend getting some of those. So next we're going to go to the specials. So this is another thing that I would highly recommend if you're going to be using engineer a lot, because your teammates are going to rely on you to basically get their armor up. So we're going to go with the composite. So the composite's just like the adrenaline and the medic's adrenaline. So this is going to give you the slightly increased armor recovery rate, you know, just the same as the adrenaline does. And, you know, the plate's basically the same as the paramedic, which is basically, I mean, it's totally up to you, you know, whatever you want to use. But composite's going to be the fastest in recovery rate. And also, if you can't get it at the time, like I said, just go with the basic until you can get the funds. Just build up your arsenal, you know what I'm saying? You don't want to just, you know, I mean, it's not the end of the world. You know, I'm sure teammates are pretty, you know, people are pretty reasonable. They're not going to just explode on you and be a bunch of dickheads. Now, the Sed Jumper, obviously, is just for fucking stupid Sed. I'm not even going to cover the class because it's so bare and it's so, like, I feel like the developers just gave up on it. Like, there's nothing to really even talk about. If you're going to go for it, it's basically all crown-based if you can get the crowns for it and you want to use the shitty class. Just get the Mercury set with the XM556. That's basically the only, I guess, viable option for that class. Not even really going to, like, bother with it too much. So yeah, the 556, armor, the whole Mercury set comes as like a whole like 4 set. It's I don't use set at all really anymore. It's just, it was kind of just for shits and giggles, but it's honestly kind of stupid. So finally, for weapons, we're going to go with the, where did all of my guns go? Oh wait, never mind, it doesn't have specials. That's what happened. So this is totally a bit of like, I guess, what would I say, personal preference. So you can go with the Cobalt Kinetics 27 or the G28. So they're pretty much roughly around the same. I mean, in terms of like their stats. So if I could find it. So yeah, if you look at their stats right here, so right off rip, the hip accuracy is the only things that's different from the G28. So I guess it's up to you. The G28 has a 2.5 times scope red dot reticle, as opposed to the Cobalt, which already has a 1.8 times fast zoom reticle. But again, they're pretty much roughly the exact same. The one thing I will note, I wonder if I've been preset 1, not sure. Yes, the M4 Marksman Custom. So this came out in the newest DLC, the Heist DLC. This is basically, I haven't done like a review on it. I guess I could actually crank it out, show you guys right now. So this is pretty much a little bit of the same. It's got 5 more damage than the Cobalt and the 28. It's got, I think, 10 more RPM, but it's got a smaller mag size. I mean, it's very negligible. It's pretty much roughly the exact same. So it's got a 1.2 times fast zoom reticle, and it's got a 4.5 times zoom, which is basically the same pretty much, you know. It shares the same rail as the Cobalt 27. The thing to note about this though, it does not have a suppressor. It only has, or not suppressor, silencer, as opposed to the 27 and the G28. Although I guess if you're doing stealth or something in Sunrise, I mean, honestly, you could just go with the 27 or the G28. This gun's okay. I don't really understand why they came out with it. It's pretty much just a reskin of the Cobalt 27 and the G28, just a bit different. I don't know why the fuck they'd even like bother with this shit, but again, it's up to them, whatever. Anyways, so for this class, Claymore again, you're gonna want to get the proximity one. This is the best one. So that's pretty much it for the weaponry. I'm going to dive right in now next to the armor sets. So starting off with Rifleman. So Rifleman, we have the Top Dog Rifleman. This is what I use for like my well-rounder, I guess, class if I'm doing like a Spec Ops. So, this increases head protection by 60%. This is like Warlord, but a bit different and a bit better. So the repair costs, especially for you guys that are freemium out there, the repair costs on this are reduced by 70%. So even though it's a little helpful, it still a little bit goes a long way, especially because I think a full set of Warlord, if you were to wear that, will run you around a 12 to 13k repair cost in the game after like a long Spec Ops. So, and I know for a lot of people, that's almost like breaking even with a lot of the missions in the game that you're playing, especially if you don't have a VIP boost like right down here. But that aside, if you can afford it, I think it's like $5, $3, something about that. I don't know. I think it might still be in shop. I'm not 100% sure on that. Next, I would use just the basic run-of-the-mill Warlord Rifleman vest. So this just has your 150 armor points, increased reload speed by 10%. The one thing you'll notice that's different is the Spectre gear, so the Beta and the Sigma boots that I have right down here. So these go into combination with each other. They're a 4 set, but I only use 2 because here's the reason why. So it gives you the hand protection, obviously. Same with this one down here, giving you leg protection at 20%. So that actually does help. With the increased reload speed of 20% with the hands, and with the set 2 bonus, it gives you an extra 10%. So that right there, with just these two together, gives you 30% reload speed. On top of the Warlord vest, giving you an extra 10%. Now that comes in handy tremendously for using an LMG class, especially in a spec ops and you're in a tight spot and you have to get, you know, the reload quick and you have to get the damage out and you got to cover your teammates. It's beautiful. It's just right off rip. So yeah, you got the protection. This increases your secondary melee attack by 10%. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's kind of a stupid stat to really add, but if that's something that you are, you know, after, I guess, boom, there you go. Recoil by, you know, 10%. The increase of select and deselect speed by 15%, which is pretty good as well. But that's, again, like I was saying, totally, you know, just up to you. So my second preset, I think, oh no, I don't even have it. Do I have it in my third? I don't think I even had that saved, did I? Oh, gosh darn it. Alright, well, I'll just go with it. I'll go with the flow. So if I were to go with my second preset, I would definitely go with the Shapeshifter. This just came out with Heist, since I bought the whole Battle Pass right off rip. This is a very tanky class, but if you're going to use this in, say, PvE, I mean, you're going to want to have a good engineer, even a good medic, because even though, like, the whole set effect is basically, you know, it gives you nutty protection. You know, it's 165 armor points with the vest on top of, you know, and at the bottom right there you can see the bonus of 4 items. Decreases damage by 18 points per hit. So every shot that's getting hit at you is just taking 18 points right off that bullet that's hitting you. And that's, like, beautiful. That's great. So the same thing here is the hand protection and the leg protection by 21%. I mean, 1% I guess adds up. You know, it helps out. It's really good. So yeah, and it increases reload speed by 15%. That's kind of low. I mean, considering the one set I was just showing you was 40%, which is just, you know, it's completely, like, you're going to notice a night and day difference between that reload speed. That's going to be the best for you. That's going to be the best for your gear. Or your weapons, sorry. So the helmet is a bit better in terms of, you know, Warlord, I would say. You know, they got that decrease of flashbang effect, you know, in case, I mean, I guess if you're in PvP, this is going to be a good set as well. You know, you can get that damage, or if somebody flashbangs you, you're still going to be able to see them. You know, it's just going to be like a millisecond and, you know, take them out really fast. Detect claymores, obviously that's great. And it also improves your accuracy by 5%. I mean, all this and just a helmet, that's pretty nuts. And that's good too. So yeah, this is basically, like, I would say one of the better sets that they came out with so far. I like it a lot, but there's some people who are controversial about, or, you know, they like Blackwood more. So Blackwood, I'm going to show you here in preset 3. It's another good set. It's really great, actually. So it's basically almost the same as the Shapeshifter, a little less tanky, but it has better regen, and some of the stats are just a slight different. So you have the decreased damage by 15 points, whereas Shapeshifter had 18. You got your protection from explosives again, but the bonus of 3 sets is going to give you 4 health and 4 armor points after 3 seconds of not taking damage. So that's also very good, especially if you don't have, like, an engineer, just somebody giving you, you know, your support juice that you're looking for. But again, it's not the end of the world. So yeah, the protection is about the same, just 1 point off. Reload speed is a bit, it's a little less, but honestly, that's still negligible, 5%. So yeah, this is basically going to be it for Rifleman. But oh, and I'll make a quick mention too. Sometimes I do it. I mean, it's kind of just more so troll class. But okay, if I were to go with the fastest boots in the entire game, is going to be the Atlas shoes. These shoes increase your sprint speed by 16%. So the second fastest is going to be 15%, like all across the board. But the Atlas, for whatever reason, are the fastest, and you run like a fucking, like, Lambo Gotti. I don't know why, but you do. And the other thing too, I do like using sometimes, is the Atlas vest. So that gives a select and deselect speed of 15% extra. So if you're basically toggling through your weapons really, really fast, I mean, you're going to be getting there, like, it's going to pop right up. So if you need to get to your secondary quick, it's going to be right there instant. On top of that, the 15% reload speed extra. So if you had, like, this with the the Sigma boots that I was just had equipped. So this is going to give you 45% reload speed. Now keep in mind, when I've been using the Atlas of War vest, man, if you get hit by an enemy in hard mode, you are going to feel it. Like all your armor points, even though it's 150, are going to be just depleted completely. I mean, this is a good set, but if you have a good team, that is. But I mean, you're going to just feel the fucking damage just melt you like it's nothing. But I mean, look at that reload speed. That reload is quick. It's quick as hell. And my aim's kind of shit. But whatever. You get the point. And with the boots as well, if you had the Atlas shoes, you'd be running really fast. But again, like, this is just something that I use a little bit. I wouldn't really recommend it, you know. But if you really need to get out of somewhere quick, you should use the Atlas shoes. But that's just kind of like, you know, if you have them, I guess use them. But it doesn't really go in a combination with anything. But, you know, I just thought it'd be a notable mention. So moving on from that, we're gonna go to. So with medic, right off the rip, I just use Blackwood. Just like with Rifleman, it basically gives a lot of the same stats. Obviously, armor points 155, which is pretty good for medic. But predominantly they're all the same set effect. It's really good for, I mean, if you're basically in a tight, you know, spot and you have to get somebody, and you know, in a hard mission especially, you can get them and just tank shots all day. So same with like Shapeshifter. I don't know if I have it with a preset or not. I do not. Man, I gotta go through these things. But this is actually tankier, but again, you do not have that armor regen. But I guess it's not the end of the world if you do have a good engineer with you. But I would highly recommend Blackwood a little bit over Shapeshifter, even though Shapeshifter is a bit tankier, just for the fact that, you know, you can regen yourself, especially because a medic, in my opinion, is very vital. So predominantly when I'm playing a Spec Ops mode, I'm always going to be a shooter most of the time. And you know, you got to keep your support classes safe. You got to keep them behind lines of cover, and it's very important that they basically don't take as much damage, but if they do, they can regenerate on their own pretty quick. And I mean, that's just pretty much it. I wouldn't really use Warlord. I mean, I guess you could. It's a faster regen, but it's less tanky, because if you're going to be playing a lot of the Spec Ops missions, especially the newer ones too, like Heights that came out, even Swarm's got like the fly traps that come out of the ground, and they can hit you like a bus, man. Like, I'm not joking. Like, they hit and they take a lot of armor off of you, and without armor, your health is just basically out there in the open and you are fucked. So I would definitely recommend that. So this is basically just for medic. Next is engineer. So this is, like I said, is going to be very controversial with this class setup. I mean, like I said, it's not going to be for everybody, but this is what this is what I basically use in my missions, like, all the time. So right off rip, you got the Top Dog engineer helmet, which is really great. So the reason why I use the Warlord engineer vest over like Blackwood set, or even the new Shapeshifter, is that little thing right, okay, you know what, it's not even gonna let me, there we go. It's that thing right there, that extra ammo capacity by 200%. So I mean, think about it. You're going in a mission, and you know, I realize that you do not, like, you're gonna have a Rifleman obviously, but in certain cases, if like your fucking Rifleman comes in with a goddamn Jester AK-12, I mean, he's going to be giving himself more ammo than you. I mean, you look at the micro Roni that I have equipped. I mean, look at the capacity. I mean, look at all that in reserve. You basically can fucking one-man army your way to the top, all the way to the finish line. So it's like a no-brainer right there that you should definitely go with Warlord. Now, there's nothing to say that, you know, Blackwood's not good for this class, or that even the Shapeshifters not. Like, they're good, they're really tanky, and you can take bullets, you eat them and spit them out all day. The thing is, though, if you basically got rid of this and you went with like just the Shapeshifter, I mean, look at that. You went from 1190 down to 350. It's not, uh, and this is just for the Microroni. The Microroni by itself has a lot in reserve. If you went with like the Thompson, it would have only 200 in reserve, and with other weapons, it's just not much. And especially for weapons of this caliber that have a high RPM, you're gonna be running out of bullets. You're gonna be relying on that rifleman. And what if your riflemen or riflemen's or riflemans, whatever the fuck, are not around? They're dead. They're gone. What are you gonna do? You're gonna knife your fucking enemies? And it's, same with your secondaries. It's not gonna last if you're in a tough fucking situation. And a lot of times you will be, especially unless you're just playing like easy mode and that's all you want to do is just run fucking easy co-ops all day or easy whatever. I mean, I guess that's not gonna be an issue, but even still, you'll probably run out of ammo. If you're doing a Black Shark and Anubis, Blackout, getting overrun by cyborgs all day. That's it's not really a viable option in my opinion. So I know there would be people who vehemently disagree with me on like that whole setup, but again, take it with a grain of salt. It's what I use, what I think is pretty good, but so be it. So again, with the gloves and the boots, the Spectre gear is what I'm going to use because the reload speed is up to 30%, obviously. But I think instead of decreasing the recoil, it increases the accuracy, which isn't bad. I mean, start with like SMGs. The engineer class is pretty good with having no recoil to begin with. So I mean, this right here it's a really good setup. Your sprint speed's by 15%, so you do run pretty quick with this class. And I mean, if you need to get people armor, I mean, you're good. This class is the most capable class in all of Warface. It's pretty much the best. It's one of my favorite to use, next to sniper and rifle. But yeah, I mean, this is a really good, well-rounded class. But this right here is pretty much what I'm going to use for this whole class right here, this armor. But again, up to you. I'm not telling you how to live your life. I'm not paying your fucking bills. Do what you want. But that's what I'm going to use. So next we have sniper. Or I guess lastly I should say sniper, but not least. So this right here is just kind of like a fucky setup right here, but certain situations I will be using Top Dog along with the Warlord, if I can find Warlord. There we go. So I use that especially with the Beta and the Sigma. The only drawback with this is you're going to not have as much ammo capacity in reserve if you're using the Cobalt or G28 or even the M4 Marksman Custom. It's only going to be 72 as opposed to 117 and 120 for the Marksman. But the reload speed is going to be a lot faster if you need to basically reload quick and help your teammates out and just get all the enemies one-shotted out, from a far range and not have them take as much damage, mitigate all that, close in all the enemies. It's really good. PvP, I wouldn't recommend it. I mean, because there's just so much better. I mean, Shapeshifter obviously is just a fucking beast. You got the 65% headshot protection. Let me actually get that whole set up right now while we're at it, just to show you. And next would obviously be Blackwood. Blackwood's pretty good as well. Blackwood I use a lot in a lot of the missions, like if I were to play like Icebreaker, or if I'm going to be doing a lot of I guess heavy enemy missions. I mean, there's Anubis. I guess pretty much a lot of them are like that, where you're basically just gonna be running, gunning, and you need like a lot of bullets for sniper, and sometimes riflemen, or I mean, even for the heist missions, people won't be going as riflemen and helping you out. So it's really good to have like that extra 50% capacity that both Shapeshifter and Blackwood give you. But what I like about Shapeshifter is it's a lot tankier. It basically gives you more of an edge, I guess, with select and deselect speed, improves your accuracy a bit. But again, I guess it's not really like, it's just marginally a bit over Blackwood, although Blackwood gets its notch because it has the better regen. But again, that's totally subjective. In PvP, I guess it really would not matter because you're basically going to be in a linear mission where you're basically, just shooting enemies, running around, and you're not really going to survive that long. But this does kind of like give you that longevity of like surviving in a mission, I guess, because you're more tankier. But yeah, so this was basically just my setup right here for armor, and that's going to do it right now for armor. So I covered the weapons. So next I'm going to explain for a lot of the free-to-play players, or people who are just starting out, what to kind of look after, what to use, I suppose, in combination, that will really help you out. So let's get right into that. Alright, so for this, I figured I would actually just start out with everything in store, just to basically show off like what would probably work best for, I guess, starting out, right off rip. So when you're gonna play, you're basically gonna be set to pretty much just default, right? So you're gonna have, not even like these weapons, obviously. You're just gonna have like your basic M4. If I could find it. I mean, you're obviously going to know. You're going to have just your M4 that's going to be, it's going to have infinite durability. So if you have like your default gear, it's not going to have any repair costs, especially starting out. So it's going to help you get like, your Warface dollars up with no repair costs. The only downside, obviously, is this default gear, and you're not going to really be getting anywhere. You're going to be like, like a carry for like your team that's kind of just, getting you to the finish line. And especially the biggest problem that we face over here on NA and even EU server is kind of like a lack of a player base, because there will be times where you're in a quick play match, like looking for a hot walk, for example, and you'll be stuck, just waiting 10 minutes in a quick play just for some co-op mission just to progress. It's kind of shitty for a lot of people starting out, and it's really hard to kind of explain this part for some people. So, I mean, if you do have the funds, I mean, I would highly, 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 highly recommend going and getting the VIP boosters. You actually don't have to get them right here. The bundles, so the mega booster right here is 13 bucks, and then it lasts for an entire month. You get it all for 30 days. But like I said, again, if you can't, I would just basically kind of grind through some of the co-op missions. If you can get missions, you're going to start out with Hot Walk, obviously, if you're brand new, and that's going to be like your introduction to starting the game, and going from there, from then on, and just kind of getting the hang of the game, and working it out in your favor. But as far as that, if you're going to progress, I would definitely start with getting something that's cheap, and it's going to have like kind of cheaper repair. So this, I mean, for 2 hours, if you're going to use it, it's 250 Warface dollars or Warbucks. Permanent 15,000. But honestly, this gun is, if you're gonna go and play PvP in this game, good fucking luck is all I'm gonna say. You don't want to use these kind of guns. I mean, this is good, but obviously it's for Warface dollars. The crown guns are temporary, and if you have the crowns, I did not go for them at all. Just don't. Just please don't. They're not a viable use of your crowns. There are so many better options. If you go to random boxes, obviously you can find stuff that's, even score like a permanent gold weapon, for crowns. I mean, it's high amount of, crowns to obviously pay, but then again, you're gonna get a better, outcome for your money, obviously. And then another thing too is don't want that invite. Is the other thing too is that you have your Warface dollar boxes as well, where you can get a golden weapon. Some of these aren't too bad. Obviously, there is the RPD. Well, that's actually not Warbucks. They actually switched these out. They had the gold para, which I would have highly recommended everybody get. I don't see it, however, but no big deal. Yeah, I would recommend that, even in an LMG, just for beginners anyways, because once you start to get into Spec Ops missions, that's going to be your biggest payout. So if you went and did Spec Ops and you did Private Room, some easy missions, you could probably just run right off rip. But the only thing is that, again, the player base is very low, so yeah, it fucking sucks. But other than that, you know, you got just for any class. Well, actually, the fucking Meg's got some good stuff, but yeah, I mean, like 50,000 permanent. I just feel like you could spend your money, and it's not really that. I mean, if you look at the stats, only 500 damage, not that good. You know, clip size 5. Yeah, no. Oh, oh yeah. Here's the other thing I didn't mention. If you're gonna go for armor in this game, please, 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 do not go for fucking salamander. Do they even have it right now? Yes, they do. It's a salamander set. It's fucking trash. Okay, here's why. So it's a 5 set armor set, right? Now it's only for $3, but the problem is that you have only one specific weapon that it comes with that gives you that 5 set bonus. So I think I have it for Rifleman right off rip, if I'm not mistaken. And I'll show you this kind of bullshit that they give you. So it's 5 set right here. So it does give you decent, a set bonus pretty much. Decreases damage by 6 points. Well, we already seen with Blackwood, and with Shapeshifter, it just blows this right out of the water. But I guess for $3, it's not the worst. But if you're gonna have that 5 set, if you're gonna use that RPD shit, I'm sorry, but it's not really that good. There's so many better options. Hell, I'd even go with the default para over the RPD. It's just, you know, I don't know. But I don't even know why they did that. I hope to God they never come out with another 5 set thing again, because it was just such a waste of fucking time. It was just a waste of people's, just money, in my opinion. But that's, just my opinion. I'm gonna go into vendor points, and that's the other thing too about the VIP. Is that you're gonna want to get your arsenal set up. So these are basically, in a roundabout way, free weapons you get by progressing, in levels. So you have right down here, obviously, your vendor points, which basically unlocks all this kind of armory type stuff right off rip that you can use at your leisure once you get it. And these are going to be the best, I guess, for your budget, because these you don't have to pay any money for. And you get them, they're not too bad, but again, in PvP, people are going to rip you a new asshole because there's so many just pay to win players. I'm especially one of them. I got the gold arsenal on fucking like point. These are just not, I mean, they're okay, they'll get you through missions, of course, but they're not the best. They're not the end all be all. Armor's the same way. You can find a pretty good amount of armor to unlock. And what's cool about this is once you unlock like a good amount of them and you are a free-to-play player, you can pretty much mix and match, choose a bit. If you basically you're depleted on, the repairs on this, don't bother repairing it. Switch it out for like another vest, if you're able to. And, just wait till you get your money up. That's the main thing about the game, is you want to make sure you get all the Warface dollars up. And, as you get leveled up, you get better gear, obviously. Some of this stuff right here is almost reminiscent to, Warlord, obviously, but Warlord's very expensive. I would only recommend Warlord if you do have VIP, because you can get that with Warface dollars. Oops, from the inventory. So yeah, it's, for 12,000 for the helmet, it's not bad, but this is going to be across the board for, specific classes. So if you have the money, I would definitely say use it, but again, VIP. So like I guess I'm gonna constantly keep referring back to VIP, because it will really get you the money and like the levels you need to get through all of your stuff. So again, and I would save your crowns. Here's the other reason why I would say crowns. So it's up to you as well. So there's obviously cards you can get to unlock for different guns that are pretty overpowered. I'm not going to go through all of these today, obviously, but there are some in here that when you progress through Spec Ops, you will basically unlock cards. And these go towards the different weapons that are in here. Once you get 1,000 of them, you can basically open them up, and it'll cost about 30,000 to craft that item. Pretty expensive if you're basically a free-to-play player. Not the most viable option, but some of these weapons are very good, and obviously you can get the Cobalt 27 like I was talking about, M4 Marksman, the Shapeshifter gear, a lot of others. You know, you got the Gilboa Snake, which is really good, the ACR CQB Custom. Like, a lot of these are pretty good. I would use, definitely. Even the H&K 121 MG5 like I was talking about. I have the gold variant of this. No need for this one. But again, like, these are very solid weapons. And in time, I would say, you know, get the cards up, get the free cards up, because you have an exchange. If you ever have, like, you know, leftover cards for a weapon that you already have, like, you know, out, if you did like a swarm, and at the end of the week they gave you 450 Hera Arm CQR cards, those 450 would come down here, and you can exchange them. Now, a bit pricey, obviously, but you can exchange them because they're free. If you would do like an exchange rate, say 20, like, I mean, 30, for 3 cards, no, you don't want to do all that. Especially you're starting out, it's not really a viable option at all. But if you have the cards left over, it's great. So you can do the free option, and bam, it'll give you just the free. It's a 15-to-1 ratio, obviously, but it'll definitely get you where you need to be. And over time, once that builds up, you know, you'll get there eventually. If you grind as much as, you know, the next guy, you'll definitely get, you know, all the cards, yada yada yada. But yeah, if you're, I would also say gamma sets, because gamma is almost reminiscent to, like, what do you call it? Blackwood as well. So you get like the armor regen. You know, you get the 160 armor points, which are pretty good. Decreased damage hit by 10 points. That's pretty good as well. But again, like I was saying, it's totally up to you, your play style. Everybody's different, but yeah. So yeah, hopefully, I hope that this kind of helped you a little bit. I feel like I was kind of scrambling all over the place a bit, but in the short of it, I hope that it does kind of help you, and kind of you know, help you on your journey, I guess, if you're basically free to play and we're trying to get, you know, an understanding of how the game really works. Now, it's like a lot of free to play games, you know, like the subscriptions, you're going to want to kind of, you know, grind at it, I guess, but, you know, hey, fuck it, you know, you do you. You know, hope the video helped you guys. Leave a like if you liked it, dislike if you disliked it. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are, what, you know, your combinations are, what kind of weapons that you use. But yeah, guys, I hope that this video helped. Yeah, I'll see you guys all in the next video. Goodbye.